Welcome to a thrilling English lesson through the epic story of Cleopatra. Today, we'll explore the life of Egypt's most famous queen. Whether you're a history lover or just want to make your English more captivating, this journey through betrayal, love, and power will make learning unforgettable. Grab your imaginary crown, and let's begin. Part 1: The Making of a Queen. 1. Daughter of the Nile. Cleopatra was born in Alexandria, the dazzling capital of Egypt. She was princess of the Ptolemy family, Greek rulers who controlled Egypt. And like most royals, she was smart and curious, learning many languages, including Egyptian, something her ancestors never bothered with. She studied philosophy, math, and politics, making her one of the most educated women of her time. Her father, Ptolemy XII, was weak and relied on Rome for protection. Cleopatra watched as Egypt grew poorer, and Rome grew stronger. She knew that one day, she would have to fight to save her kingdom. 2. The Poisoned Crown. When Cleopatra was 18, her father died. His will said she should rule with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, who was only 10, but Egypt's greedy advisors wanted power for themselves. They pushed Cleopatra aside, making Ptolemy XIII the main ruler. Cleopatra refused to disappear. She took control, making decisions without her brother's advisors. This made them furious. They spread lies about her, saying she wanted all the power for herself. Soon, the people turned against her. 3. Sister against sister. Egypt was now divided. Cleopatra's younger sister, Arsinoe, joined Ptolemy XIII against her. The palace became a battlefield of secrets and betrayals. The advisors convinced Ptolemy XIII to declare Cleopatra an enemy. One night, fearing for her life, Cleopatra escaped Alexandria. But she didn't give up. She traveled to Syria, gathering an army to take back her throne. Meanwhile, her siblings ruled Egypt proudly. The people suffered, and the kingdom grew weaker. 4. Exile in the desert. Cleopatra was now a queen without a kingdom. She lived in the harsh desert, planning her return. She knew she needed a powerful ally, and soon, fate would bring her one. Julius Caesar, the most powerful Roman general, arrived in Egypt. He was chasing his enemies, but Cleopatra saw an opportunity. She had to meet him, but how? Her brother's soldiers guarded the palace. In a daring move, she rolled herself in a carpet, some say a linen sack, and was smuggled into Caesar's room. So when the carpet unrolled, the Roman general was stunned. Cleopatra, brilliant and charming, convinced him to help her. Now, the real battle for Egypt would begin. Part 2: The Alliances of Power. 5. The Arrival of Caesar. Julius Caesar, the mighty Roman general, arrived in Alexandria in 48 BC, chasing his enemies. Egypt was in chaos. Cleopatra was in exile, and her brother Ptolemy XIII sat on the throne. Cleopatra knew this was her only chance. She couldn't just walk into the palace. Her brother's guards would kill her. So, she came up with a bold plan. She wrapped herself in a carpet or a linen sack, some say, and had herself smuggled into Caesar's room. When the carpet was unrolled, Caesar was shocked but impressed. Cleopatra, young, clever, and fearless, spoke to him in perfect Greek and Latin. She convinced him that she was the rightful ruler of Egypt. Caesar, who loved power and clever people, decided to help her. 6. Queen's Gambit. Ptolemy XIII was furious when he found out Cleopatra had tricked Caesar. His advisors declared war on Rome. The Alexandrian War began, a bloody fight in the streets of the city. Caesar and Cleopatra were trapped inside the palace, surrounded by enemies. At one point, the Egyptians even set fire to the harbor, burning ships and libraries. But Caesar was a brilliant soldier. After months of fighting, he won the war. Ptolemy XIII tried to flee but drowned in the Nile. Cleopatra's sister, Arsinoe, was captured and sent to Rome as a prisoner. Now, Cleopatra was queen of Egypt again, but she had to rule with her youngest brother, Ptolemy XIV, just a boy. And most importantly, she had Caesar's support. 7. Mother of a king. Cleopatra and Caesar became more than allies, they fell in love. In 47 BC, she gave birth to their son, Caesarion Little Caesar. She believed he would one day rule both Rome and Egypt. A year later, Caesar invited her to Rome. She lived in his villa, shocking the Romans with her luxury and power. Many senators hated her. They feared she would make Caesar a king, ending the Roman Republic. But in 44 BC, everything changed. 8. The Ides of Betrayal. On March 15, the Ides of March, Caesar was stabbed to death by his own senators, including his friend Brutus. Rome was thrown into chaos. Cleopatra, heartbroken and in danger, fled back to Egypt. Without Caesar, she had no protector. She knew Rome's new leaders might try to take Egypt from her. Soon after, her brother Ptolemy XIV died mysteriously. Many believed she poisoned him. Now, she ruled only with her son, Caesarion. But Rome was still a threat. A new power struggle was coming, and a new Roman general, Mark Antony, would soon enter her life. Part 3. Love and War. 9. The seduction of Mark Antony. After Caesar's death, Rome was split in two. Mark Antony, a fierce general and Caesar's loyal friend, ruled the east. Octavian, Caesar's young nephew, controlled the west. Antony needed money for his wars, so he summoned Cleopatra to meet him. She knew this was her chance to protect Egypt and maybe win another powerful Roman's heart. She arrived in style. Her royal ship had purple sails and golden oars, with herself dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Antony, who loved luxury and bold women, was instantly charmed. They feasted, drank, and talked for days. Soon, they became lovers and allies. Antony promised to protect Egypt and Cleopatra promised to fund his wars. 10. An empire divided. Antony spent more time in Alexandria than in Rome. He and Cleopatra had 3 children together. Meanwhile, Octavian grew angry and jealous. He told the Romans that Antony was under Cleopatra's spell, betraying Rome. Octavian was clever. He spread rumors that Antony wanted to make Cleopatra queen of Rome and move the capital to Egypt. The Romans, who already distrusted Cleopatra, turned against Antony. Soon, it was clear Rome would go to war against Egypt. 11. The donations of Alexandria. To show their power, Antony and Cleopatra held a grand ceremony in Alexandria. They declared their children kings and queens of eastern lands, giving them Syria, Armenia, and even parts of Rome's territories. This made Octavian furious. He said Antony had no right to give away Roman lands. The Senate declared war ***, not on Antony, but on Cleopatra. The final battle was coming. 12. The Battle of Actium. In 31 BC, Antony and Cleopatra's fleet met Octavian's ships at Actium, Greece. Their navy was strong, but Octavian's general, Agrippa, was a brilliant strategist. During the battle, something terrible happened. Cleopatra's ships suddenly fled. Antony, seeing her leave, abandoned his men and followed her. Their army was crushed. The remaining soldiers surrendered to Octavian. Now, Antony and Cleopatra had no choice but to retreat to Egypt. Octavian's forces chased them, ready to end their rule forever. Part 4. The Fall of a Goddess. 13. The Siege of Alexandria. Octavian's army marched toward Egypt like a storm. Antony tried to fight back, but his soldiers abandoned him. Joining Octavian's side instead, broken and ashamed, Antony returned to Cleopatra's palace. Then came false news, a rumor that Cleopatra had killed herself. Overcome with grief, Antony fell on his sword, dying in her arms. As he bled, Cleopatra wept, knowing the end was near. Octavian's forces surrounded Alexandria. The great city that once shone like gold now trembled in fear. -14. The last bargain. Cleopatra knew Octavian wanted to parade her through Rome as a trophy, a defeated queen in chains. She would never let that happen. She met with Octavian, trying to negotiate. She even begged for mercy for her children. But Octavian's cold eyes showed no pity. He only wanted Egypt's treasure. Cleopatra pretended to obey, but secretly, she planned one last act of defiance. 15. The Serpent's Kiss. On August 12, 30 BC, Cleopatra locked herself in her tomb with her two most loyal servants. She put on her royal robes and golden jewelry, then lay on a bed of silk. According to legend, she let a poisonous asp, a small Egyptian cobra, bite her arm. The venom brought a painless death, a queen's death, not a prisoner's. When Octavian's men found her, she was already gone, still radiant as a goddess. Her servant, Charmian, was straightening her crown when they burst in. One soldier shouted, "Is this well done?" Charmian replied, "Very well, as befits the last of so many noble kings." Then she too collapsed dead. Egypt was no longer free. Octavian took control, making it a Roman province. Cleopatra's son, Caesarion, was killed. Her other children were taken to Rome. The last Pharaoh of Egypt was gone. Epilogue. The legend lives on. Cleopatra's death marked the end of ancient Egypt's glory, but her legend never faded. She became a symbol of beauty, intelligence, and power, a queen who chose death over surrender. Even today, her story lives on, the woman who dared to challenge Rome and changed history forever. Epilogue. The legacy of the last pharaoh. When Cleopatra died, Egypt lost its independence after 3,000 years as a mighty kingdom. Octavian, now called Augustus, made it a Roman province, taking its gold and grain to feed Rome's empire. The great pyramids and temples still stood, but they were now ruled by foreign masters. What happened to Cleopatra's children? Caesarion, her son with Julius Caesar, was hunted down and killed. Octavian would allow no rivals to live. Her 3 children with Mark Antony, Alexander, Cleopatra, and Ptolemy were taken to Rome and raised by Octavian's sister. They vanished from history. No one knows their true fate. The birth of a legend. Even in death, Cleopatra could not be forgotten. The Romans tried to paint her as a wicked seductress, but her story was too powerful. People whispered, did she really die from a snake's bite? Or was it poison hidden in her hairpin? Was she beautiful, or just brilliantly charming? Ancient coins show her strong nose and sharp eyes, a face made for commanding empires, not just pretty smiles. Did she love Caesar and Antony, or just use them to save Egypt? Maybe both. Why do we still remember her? She was the last pharaoh of an ancient world. She spoke 9 languages and ruled better than most kings. She fought for her kingdom until the very end. Today, books, movies, and songs still tell her tale, not just as a tragic queen, but as a woman who refused to surrender. The Nile remembers her. The desert remembers her. And so does the world. From the golden halls of Alexandria to her final, defiant act, Cleopatra's story reminds us that true power lies in courage, wit, and an unbreakable spirit. Though her empire fell, her legend lives on, teaching us that even in defeat, there is immortality. As we close this chapter, remember her words, "I will not be triumphed over. Keep learning, keep rising, and let history inspire your own journey." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share which part of her story amazed you most. Until next time, stay curious and maybe channel your inner Cleopatra when facing life's battles.